Third down and 20.
We're talking players that can be helped from the draft, like as in players that we want to buy before the draft because we think their value will be like it will go up after the draft. Who wants to take this one?
I think you do, JT.
Yeah, I was gonna say, none of you seem like you want to do it. All right. Well, my guy is someone actually that I've been trying to buy for a while. It's T. Higgins, and the reason being, I think a lot of people are afraid that he's going, like Jamar Chase is going to be going to the Bengals, and I personally don't see Jamar Chase getting drafted by the Bengals. I just think I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a Joe Burrow picture where they showed his knee and just like the scar on his knee. And if that's not a reminder for the Bengals to go out and protect your like supposed franchise quarterback, I don't know what is. I think even if they do draft Jamar Chase, T. Higgins' value will take a hit by perception, but I think T. Higgins is still going to be fine on the Bengals if that's the case. So yes, the Bengals might take Jamar Chase, which will hurt T. Higgins like perception-wise. But I think from a pure fantasy output, he'll still be fine. So either you're kind of breaking even where you were, or you're gaining the value because the public expected the Bengals to take Jamar Chase and the uncertainty that's baked into his price.
I agree with that. And also people need to realize with Jamar Chase, we brought it up in a previous episode, but AJ Green got 102 targets last year. Those targets are going to go to someone.
Which is crazy to think that AJ Green had 102 targets. He felt like non-existent most of the time.
There's more than enough to spread the ball around. So I agree with that. I have one, and this is someone that I've warmed up on way more this offseason as I've gotten to be able to review how his season went. My favorite players to buy are kind of rookies that didn't live up to expectations. So my pick is Jerry Jeudy. And again, I'm saying this isn't someone who's going to be cheap per se, but it's someone who I think his value next offseason is going to be a lot higher than it is right now. Last season, I got some numbers for you guys. I got some numbers. Jerry Jeudy. 26 uncatchable targets, which was most out of qualifying receivers. And 24% of targets incomplete because of the quarterback, which is the highest percentage in the NFL. So if you had me guess right now, I do think the Broncos are going to come away with this first round with a quarterback. And if they don't this year, it's guaranteed for next season.
Is this a buy Jerry Jeudy or a sell Drew Lock?
Well, Drew Lock, I don't know.
What are you getting for Drew Lock, though?
I don't know
Nothing.
what you're getting for Drew Lock.
Someone want to help me
out?
Firm
handshake.
I'm not buying Jeudy. I'm not buying Jeudy.
Maybe
we know JT.
No.
I think he suffered a lot from his quarterback play last year. I just said those numbers, and I think they're going to either bring in – I think there's a decent chance they get a quarterback this draft, and if not, I'm 1,000% sure they will next offseason. And I think this is the lowest you're going to be able to buy Jerry Jeudy at in his career.
I think that's the bait, Lounis. I think you took the bait. Although you got someone, you got the rookie wide receiver I do think didn't perform to expectations. That does have the opportunity to jump. I think Reagor would be that guy.
Oh, Reagor?
Yeah.
No, I agree too. I just think Jeudy is the higher ceiling.
He's the bait. Because there's so many people that are saying that.
Frank, what do you guys think about Jeudy?
I like Jeudy. Potential buy. I mean, you don't got to convince me on Jeudy. Like I want to buy him in a league. It's just the price on him is still high though. Yeah. Like you still got to pay like a mid first most of the time.
I'm not saying he'll be. Again, I'm not saying he'll be cheap. I'm just saying this is the cheapest you're gonna get him right now.
I agree. I think that to get Jeudy though, there needs to be enough factors going your way because. You know, if you look at his stats and you look at his film, like he had some drop issues, but like it really wasn't a bad season for Jerry Jeudy. I just think that when you have Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb kind of have better stats and have a bunch of flashy plays, you have like the Jerry Jeudy owners just kind of sitting there in the corner like, hey, where's my stuff? And I think that that's kind of the perception around Jerry Jeudy right now. But most smart owners that have Jerry Jeudy realize that they're not going to sell unless you overpay for him, and it's going to take, because realistically, what Jerry Jeudy should be worth a late first, early second, and most owners aren't taking that for him right now. So to trade into him, it's just kind of awkward. Like, how do you get that done? You probably have to trade into him with a player. Like, let's say you're giving up a Justin Jefferson and you pick up picks and Jerry Jeudy, but then is that even worth for most teams? So I just feel like it's an awkward time to kind of trade for Jeudy. I think if you can do it, it's great, but
It does depend on the owner. I would definitely give a late first for Jeudy, though.
I would too.
I'm not. But I've said my piece on that one. All right.
Jake, are you giving a late, last comment on it? Jake, you giving a late first for Jeudy?
Not really. I love the talent. I love him personally, but I just don't see the situation in Denver not being murky anytime soon, and it's just something that I think I'd rather stay away from here than buy in.
I think starting this season, he's going to be the third guy, the third target on his team.
I mean, there's going to be Sutton and Fant, and then there's and then him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's obviously the
I think he has the
the
highest.
Jeudy owner saying he's the number one target. I understand what they're going to say.
He's not right now.
But
No,
like,
not right now.
give him some time to develop, and it might be. But at this point, I just don't see that offense being productive enough to support Sutton and Fant and him and Melvin Gordon in the backfield and with Drew Lock under center. It's just not an offense that I'm looking to really buy pieces from.
I'm buying Fant, but that's just me. Okay. Jake, Frank, who do you guys have?
I got another guy that was an underperforming rookie. Price tag's still pretty high on him, just like with Jeudy here, but it's actually Tua. I just think the Dolphins, they have so many picks in this draft, and they are going to significantly improve the depth on this roster and the weapons that Tua is going to have at some point. Even if they go offensive line in the first round, they have so many picks. They'll get him weapons to pair along with, Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and Gesicki here, which obviously is not a great set of weapons. But, a lot of people have him taking either Pitts in the first round or Waddle and Smith and maybe even Jamar Chase if they stay at 6. So they're going to get help for Tua. This offensive line is going to get better with some of these later, second and third round picks here to improve the offensive line. And overall, I just think they kind of eased Tua into last year. They let him start on the bench. They eased him in. They even, obviously people are like, oh, we got benched, so you got benched. Well, yeah, because, they wanted to have Ryan Fitzpatrick just gunsling the ball. But I think they're going to open the playbook a little more for him and really let him loose another year. People forget that he had a major surgery, not, right before the NFL draft. So, give him some time. I think he's going to take a big step forward this year. And for the price you can get him at now, with what's going to happen in the NFL draft from the Dolphins, I think he's a great buy.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say him too. And you basically just said all of my reasoning as well. So I agree. Frank, who are you thinking?
Man, this is a tough decision because I had a lot of guys that were racing through my head. I was looking at guys like Gaskin because I
was going to say him too. Yeah.
Even if they draft a running back, I think he could have a good role, but I didn't want to go with him. Obviously you got the Raegers and even the Colts wide receivers. A lot of people think they're going to add a wide receiver, but I think buying him now, you could buy him low. We talked about him last episode. There's plenty of guys, but there's one dude that for some reason I can't fathom, and I actually really like him, and that's Damien Harris for the Patriots.
Ooh.
I think that this Patriots team, we all know they need to invest in their offense, whether that's a quarterback or receivers or whatnot, but there's almost one staple to this team right now. And there's two players, actually. You got that damn right tackle y'all drafted last year and Damien Harris. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a single Patriots fan or a person that watched a Patriots game last year and said, well, that kid's not very good. He didn't play hard. He didn't really help this offense out. I still think this is going to be a team that has that power running identity. We've seen them adopt that when they struggle to move the football through the air. And considering they re-signed Cam Newton, I think even if their passing game increases, they're not all of a sudden going to become the Chiefs or anything of that nature. So they're still going to have this power running identity. They brought in tight ends to do so. So while the players that might be drafted to the Patriots during the draft may not directly benefit Damien Harris, I think that getting any semblance of an offense around Damien Harris could really, really drive up his value. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a low tier RB1 that you can get for like an RB3 price right now.
I agree on Damien Harris. I know everyone's scared of the Patriots backfield, but I think that also it's not just on the buyer's end, but it's on the seller's end too. Like the seller will take that into account, that the Patriots backfield is kind of like you never really can trust it 1,000%. But I thought he was clearly the best back on the team last year, and at least is like a pure runner. Like if you want to argue James White as a receiver, sure, but I'm just talking as a pure runner. And I just think they have a ton of needs on their team where they're not going to draft a running back anytime early. So he's someone who I think everyone, and for like a fair reason, is scared of the Patriots backfield. He's someone you can get cheap that can be like a pretty solid RB2 next year.
Yeah, I just think
Or
of
a flex
all
play.
running backs, he is one of the only very fairly priced running backs right now, for good or for bad. You know, you look at any one of the other top rookie backs, right? And they're all incredibly overpriced, other than probably James Robinson. But even James Robinson, you realize, oh, this is an undrafted guy. We've seen this happen before.
They're impossible to buy.
So
they're impossible to buy.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you saw the same thing happen with Phillip Lindsay. Phillip Lindsay looks great. He seems like a do-it-all back. There are a couple of concerns. I think James Robinson's better than Lindsay was, but still, you gotta pay more. But I mean, even at the running backs that are around Damien Harris, some of like Ronald Jones, or I think Kareem Hunt might be a bad example because I think we all know that Kareem Hunt is more talented than Damien Harris. But I feel like if you offer for Damien Harris, you're not thinking of offering first. And I don't even think the person selling Damien Harris is expecting first round draft capital to sell him. But you offer an early second or a combination of picks if that team, let's say they're not the strongest team. I mean, even if they are the strongest team, like if you offered Odell Beckham, you're probably getting Damien Harris. Like, am I wrong there? Or what do you guys think?
I think you'd probably expect more than Damien Harris.
You get more. Yeah, you get Damien Harris and another piece.
So I feel like if you need a running back, because in a couple of my leagues with my draft strategy, I need a running back. Damien Harris, after like gauging the market, seems to be the only guy that is worth the picks giving up to get him.
What's the highest you would pay for Damien Harris is in terms of like an individual draft pick? Or what do you value him around?
Okay, well, that's an interesting question for a couple of reasons. First off, it does depend on what happens with Trey Sermon and Michael Carter for me, because I still really like them.
That's very true.
Now, if the world was a bunch of me's and I had to draft against a bunch of myself, I think that I would give up like a good 204, 205 for Damien Harris.
Really?
Maybe even 203.
That's higher than I thought.
But that's because that's exactly around where I would be drafting.
I think it's fair. I'd probably have Damien around like a 206. So pretty similar to you. I like Damien Harris. He showed a lot of flashes last year.
I guess. I mean,
JT, you're the Patriots fan.
Yeah,
you're the Patriots fan.
I mean, it's cliche and it's baked into the price, but it's so hard trusting the Patriots running back. Like, I agree. Damien Harris has definitely looked as like the best running back out of any of them. But at the end of the day, like, it's a Patriots running back, and it's still Bill Belichick, and it's still Josh McDaniels, and like, how much can I really trust him? And they draft a running back like every 2-3 years anyway. So
yeah, I wouldn't
this year.
I don't think I would want to give up one of those early mid-seconds for him. I would probably look to package a late second with either another future pick or a meddling player almost, and see if
Mhm.
I could get the deal done that way. Let's say they need a receiver that a guy I'm trading with really badly. Well, then I'll try and package some random ass receiver with a pick. Not a random ass receiver, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
just a flex player.
You guys want to do like a quick two round around the horn, just random players that you think might be helped? Like I'll shout one out right now. I think Lamar. Who
I
wants to
like
take
that
him?
one.
Yeah. I mean, they have the worst wide receiving group in the league, so can't
Yeah, you
be
can only
worse than
expect
worse.
to get better.
Worse. It can't get worse.
Yeah. All right, but like just say the player and like let's move on. So we could go Frank next.
Oh, geez, you really had to pick me next.
All right, so
I can go.
Yeah,
Joe
you go.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Okay.
Joe Burrow. I think they're either going to get him an elite tier offensive lineman or a whole new weapon.
Jake or Frank?
Matt Ryan,
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, if he gets Pitts.
Pitts or Sewell.
Yeah,
I
true.
think it really
True.
helped him out.
Let's see. I don't know. I think Josh Allen. I really do. I think the Bills just stack up with that offense some more.
I guess. I mean, at his price though, he's
I
quarterback.
mean, I'm not
here.
saying it's not really.
He can still go up. He
I
can
guess.
still go up.
I have one more, but this is more of like.
Oh, can I say? Actually, I have another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of an obvious pick. Like we all know who they're going to pick, but I think he's going to actually have a really good year this year. Corey Davis.
Oh,
in New York.
Really? Okay.
I think with a rookie quarterback, they're going to draw up a ton of plays to go to the number one receiver. I think he's going to end up being like the guy you trust the most, and Corey Davis is the number one receiver.
I've said this before, and this is kind of off topic, but it's kind of a Corey Davis rant. But like, I liked Corey Davis in the role he was in, where he was that number 2 guy. Now that he's the number 1 guy, I just think he's going to be a Jag. I really do. I liked him firmly behind A.J. Brown with Derrick Henry in the backfield behind him. It was the perfect situation for Corey Davis, and I don't expect much from him on the Jets, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm also not very confident that Zach Wilson will be playing to the level of Ryan Tannehill, especially right out of the gates. So
if you ever
no, not that.
Yeah, but think about it like this.
Not that level.
In a lot of trades, you can get Corey Davis almost as more of a throw-in than an actual buy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're all under the assumption that he is the wide receiver 1. Like, it's not Mims. It's not. Is Crowder even still?
I think Mims is so overrated. That's just me, though.
I don't like Mims. Seems like we're an anti-Mims podcast.
Dude, I watched 13 Jets games all back on the all 22,
Torture.
only their offense, and I'm like he made a couple good plays, but I feel like he wasn't drafted he wasn't doing what he was drafted to do. Like it was almost why I didn't like Michael Pittman, right?
Well, is that an Adam Gase issue, or is that a Mims issue?
Dude, half the NFL is running the same damn scheme as Adam Gase right now. They all come from the same damn coaching tree. So, like, if you're going to complain about his scheme, you got to complain about McVay and Shanahan and all of these guys.
Frank, you did just bring something up, though, that I think could be a great idea, and that's one of our punishments could be for the hot take ones. If you get it wrong, you got to watch an all 22, just every single game of the Jaguar season and come back the following week with a report on what you saw. Just you have to watch it straight through. You're watching 16 games or however many are available on the all 22.
So
and you come
they're
back
all
with a
available.
report. Yeah.
You could go back all the way into like 2009.
Well, let's just do 16. You're giving a 16-game report on the Jaguars and what went wrong.
Football.
Yeah, that's probably like 4. That's probably like 2 days. Well, you cut out commercials and everything. That's not true. It's probably,
Still,
it takes a while. It takes a lot longer than you think.
Yeah, that would be awful. I did have one guy that was kind of more of a wish than an actual, was Bryan Edwards. I just hope this is his breakout year. That was all. I want to throw that out into the universe, and maybe there's people listening that are believers like me.
I like Bryan.
Yeah, the Edwards family.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Edwards.